Hello everyone. Welcome back to the ones that have already been here and welcome to the people joining for the first time. This is my second video of the Mistakes That Lead to Goals series, but before I get into the video, I want to express my gratitude towards Rockchalk, who went out of his way to share my last video. And I want to say that for me, it's really not about the views or the 100 subscriber mark I passed. Look, I even got a trophy for it. What absolutely makes this is that someone who knows the game inside out and has such massive ball knowledge deems it educational enough to share it. So, yeah, that carries a lot of weight for me. And I want to emphasize it is not about the subscribers. Next stop, 1 million subscribers. In all seriousness, it took me quite some time to find a game where I thought that the concepts I want to convey have featured well enough for it being worthy of showing it to you guys. One of the concepts is wingplay, and I hear and read it all the time. Wingplay is dead. And that's right. Wingplay is dead, and Konami killed it. But good news, everyone! It can be revived if the circumstances allow it, and if they do, it is so much fun. So let's take a look at these circumstances and how they come into play in this game. First, the managers. De La Fuente on one side, Deschamps on the other. I chose to play out wide and my opponent long ball counter. We both set up the teams in a 4-2-1-3 formation. The key difference of my opponent playing 3 narrow attackers in the 2 center forward 1 second striker meta, and me having a winger on each side with 1 center forward in between. Most LBC players I've played against, and I have a feeling that you had a similar experience, chose to bypass the middle area of the pitch in order to get it quickly to their attackers. Players in out wide, while spreading out in possession, will look to make it narrow after losing possession, with focusing defensively on central areas. That could work against someone looking to attack there, and that is why I chose out wide over possession's high defensive line and the space it leaves him behind, which could kill you against 3 narrow attackers, 2 of them on counter target, waiting for the ball being played directly into them. Offensive width is a principle that enables the domination of space in possession by dispersal of the players. Means that you stretch the pitch, and by playing quickly to the flanks you can avoid congested central areas and isolate defenders on the wings for 1v1s or overlaps. Here it could be very potent, because my opponent's attacking width is provided by fullbacks on each side, which leaves a lot of space to be exploited, especially during counters. And now let's see what this game has in store for us. First scene, opponent is blocking the pass to my center forward, but that's okay, I want to play on the wing anyway. He is moving Rodri in the direction of play though, and that prompts me to think about the side I want to play on. I see Kudus raising his arm and making a good run, but I have my mind set on switching flanks because I can isolate the right back for a 1v1. A very important concept for dribbling successfully on the wing is body positioning. I'm running diagonally at the defender and give myself 2 options, and more importantly, the defender the chance to guess wrong. I take the resulting corner short and put focus on leaving enough space to the goal line so I can drive right, but also maintain the danger of going left. I end up trying to set up a knock-on with Salah to show that it is in my repertoire and a possible threat, but opponent blocks it and goes for the outlet in midfield. Here he plays it to the wing, and doing so surprises me. It is possible to split the pitch in a lot of areas, but I want to start with the 3 main ones. And if we look from right to left, it is defensive, middle, and attacking third. Opponent is showing here that he's willing to recycle and go from middle back into the defensive third before going forward again. And that's not exactly what you would expect from a long ball counter player. And after a really nice passage of play, it leaves me with the impression that he likely knows what he's doing. Also, he's showing that he's not afraid to hit it from the edge of the box. Somehow I manage to defend and I go for the transition where I work the ball to Salah. And I have options. First and best option for the sake of variety in attacking play would be waiting for my fullback to arrive with an overlap and create a numerical advantage. Also, I could turn back into space and see if he maybe gives me goal side in option 2. Option 3 would have made the most sense pattern wise because it has worked before in the short corner scene. And looking at my opponent's body position, which I have successfully ignored, it would have told me that he's ready to defend the cut inside, which unfortunately ends up being my choice. This time, our opponent shows his willingness to skip the midfield by going straight to his striker in true LBC manner. Fortunately, he ignores his best option and goes for the first time through ball. I intercept and get it to my fullback. This is where I want to introduce another key concept of wing play. So the pass is already played, and I want to shift the focus to the radar on the bottom, which is a tool I feel is very underrated. It helps you keep the overview and is actually, like here, showing you options that are not even on the screen yet. Next time you see no solution, give it a try, check the radar and let me know how it went. While that is more of a general concept of the game, let's get back to the wing play one, where I want to take a closer look at Salah, who will come into the screen in a moment. The green arrow is indicating the couple of steps he's going to make towards the ball, and while at first they don't seem much, they make all the difference. They increase the distance to the left back and give you all the space, time and angle to do whatever you want. You can drive inside, you can play it first time to the player in half space, making the run into the channel, something the left back has to be wary of, by the way. You can go for the 1v1, or even play it to the arriving right back and let Salah go wide again. So all these possibilities unlocked by just a couple of steps at the right time. Next scene starts with a switch of flanks and the emphasis on timing and the power bar, but not of the switch itself, but more so on the layoff. I see many players give their intentions away too early and become predictable. By the time the ball has arrived, all sorts of off-balance body positions will end up in messed up passes. So it's important to be patient and pick the right moment to give your input. And I guarantee if you respect the ball's travel time, your pass precision will improve. Applying the concept of the last scene, I respect the ball's travel time and I'm being patient with giving my input, which in turn lets me recognize the distance between the defender and me, and that I can receive the ball calmly. This gives my left back the opportunity to overlap and me the space to drive because his run cannot go unaddressed. This sequence is all about giving my opponent his defensive flowers. He baits me nicely here with Trent and wins the ball, who is ending up out of position though after I regain possession. Him leaving all that space gives me the chance to exploit it and I play it forward. But Now watch how opponent switches to the center back and positions himself perfectly to delay my counter. If I would go into the dribbling, I'd be forced out wide, which is away from goal and any danger here. But it's not only that. Opponent is not second man pressing with Rodri, because he's aware of the runner arriving, which is why he breaks a play with a well-timed interception. Now, after this exception, we're going to come back to why this series is called Mistakes That Lead to Goals. I ignore the space behind the fullback and go for an impossible pass which gets intercepted. Looking at this in isolation, it's not a tragic mistake. My next one is, unfortunately. In negative transition, I failed to switch away from Cucurella early enough to tuck in my right or center back. In addition to that, I dragged the defender tracking the attacker's run out of position by panic second man pressing, and all these decisions lead to me conceding. While initially defending well, after trying to clear the ball off balance with the weak foot, disaster strikes for opponent. If you ask what the alternative was, turning and driving into that space, clearing it with the stronger foot was an option, and even kicking it out of play would have been justified. The switch here is too focused on the short pass, and I can deliver a low stunning cross. Even if my opponent wasn't late on the switch, these crosses always create danger, and I managed to score the equalizer from this one. Not that he needs my shout out or anything, but Spoody Pizzas has released a video yesterday about how powerful exactly these crosses are, so if you want a more detailed description, head over to his channel and check the video out. Now, this is a cross I should have faked, and I will show you later why. A good trick to help you get into a position ahead of the attacker for an aerial duel is the mechanism to push up your defensive line. Even if there is no offside at a kickoff, it moves defenders a bit further up, which could give you the edge in the fight for prime position to win a header. Here it does exactly that, and it results in a dangerous offensive transition. What do you do here? Which defender do you select to engage? 1, 2, or 3? I will give you a couple of seconds before I show which one and why, and you can pause the video here if you want. For everyone selecting player number 2, congratulations, you are an excellent defender. All the others, don't lose hope. This blue offside line puts things into perspective and might help you view and react to these situations accordingly in the future. At the latest, in this moment you can play the attacker offside by engaging the ball carrier and prevent the goal. Opponent switches are in shambles and it costs him. Realizing my clunky center back is not going to carry the ball or play some pass under pressure, and understanding that recycling is the play is probably my most composed moment in the game. It sets me up for a similar situation I have had with Salah in the first half. Just like him, Nkunku is coming towards the ball and creating separation to Trent by doing so, who is coming to pressure him and is leaving space in behind. In an attempt to cover for that, Declan Rice distances himself from the center midfielder, which opens up the 1-2 into the space behind Trent. Body position is telling on the defender, and by committing closing the passing lane, he ironically opens one up to Nkunku in half space, who has plenty of options. Pass into the middle, cuckoo down the wing, drive himself, spoiled for choice, basically. I get denied scoring a beautiful team goal by a crucial block, but we're rolling here, and after a comedic block, ball circulates well. The very same mistake has happened to my opponent twice within 4 minutes of in game time, not even real time. And if he watches this video, it will never happen to him again. This is the perfect example of why video analysis is the best tool to identify bad patterns, correct them, and become a better player. This time I choose to drive it past Rodri with a short burst of acceleration and play to Cucurella on the wing, who, if you remember the cross I should have faked, well, this time I do and I reward myself. I'll leave you with this last play where I'm still wondering if it would have went in if I would have aimed at the left side of goal. If you want to see more plays like these live, then follow me on Twitch. The link is in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Otherwise, see you in the next video.